Please watch this. Please watch this. My son and I are officially homeless.
All right, so I'm here with Nina. Nina, how old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
Yeah.
And are you homeless right now?
Yeah.
How long have you been homeless?
Like maybe 3 years now.
I'm 23 and I live in my car. I'm officially homeless as of next week with my 3 daughters, my 2 dogs, and my 2 cars that I broke down.
Listen, homelessness is no joke. And one day you're going to either be homeless or run into somebody homeless.
You know, America's in a really sad state right now, okay?
Spend a few minutes with me while I explain how I became homeless.
I had applied to 6 different apartments and I got denied at every place.
Here in America, you can literally work a full-time job and still be homeless.
Here's a question nobody in Washington wants to answer. How does a country that calls itself the greatest on earth have millions of people who are one missed paycheck away from sleeping outside? Not one missed year, not one missed month. One paycheck. That is the reality for a terrifying number of Americans right now. People with jobs, people with routines, people who set alarms and show up and clock in and do everything a functioning adult in a functioning society is supposed to do. And the entire thing, the apartment, the stability, the roof over their head, is balanced on the edge of a single paycheck like a glass on the edge of a table. One push, one emergency, 1 week of missed shifts, one unexpected bill, and it all falls. And for the people who have already fallen, the ones who did everything right and still ended up with nowhere to go, the system that was supposed to catch them has a waiting list. A years-long, impossibly bureaucratic, dignity-stripping waiting list. Meanwhile, try to get approved for a new apartment. Go ahead. Try it. Make sure you earn 3 times the rent. Make sure your credit score is perfect. Make sure you have rental history. Make sure you have references. Make sure you have first month, last month, and a security deposit ready up front. Make sure you have all of that while also being the same person who just got evicted or is currently homeless because you couldn't afford the rent in the first place. It is a trap, a perfectly designed, completely legal trap, and millions of Americans are caught inside it right now. Let's talk about it.
So I see so many people that are living in their car. I used to pick up at Panera Bread every morning. I would go in there. I would get out to work at like 6 a.m. doing DoorDash, and I would see the same car in the parking lot every single morning. And this person, they would sit in the parking lot all day, and you could see their stuff in their car. And clearly this person was homeless, living in their car. There are so many people who live in their cars. Even like Walmart parking lots, you'll see the same cars there all day, and it's very, very sad, but you know, that's just what people have to do because they don't have the money to afford this high rent. That is an issue. Nobody should have to live in their cars just because they can't afford rent. It's just not the way to live.
One of people's biggest fears is being homeless. They can't think of the idea that maybe one day, especially with this economy, they could potentially end up homeless. But being homeless is kind of like a wake-up call because there's a lot of people just like me living in their cars nowadays, and it's really just to have a life of freedom because that's more important than material possessions, in my opinion. And it's gotten to the point where the material life that America has created has been so expensive and hard to do basic things that people much rather sleep in their cars than engage and participate in the way that things are going. You know, it is in a sense a sign of boycotting, and it's what America has done till the end of time. When things aren't working for the people, they're going to do something about it.
Listen, homelessness is no joke. And one day you're going to either be homeless or run into somebody homeless, or even you might know somebody that's homeless. And I just want to tell you, treat that person like a regular person, like a regular human. Oftentimes I see too many people treating homeless people like they're trash, like they're beneath them. And that's what people do. People see somebody doing worse than them or in a worse situation, and they won't be considerate and be like, maybe they're going through a hard time in life right now. They'll just be like, well, they didn't do what I did. And if I don't make excuses for myself, they can't make excuses for themselves. That's a wrong approach. And I don't think that's having humility. I don't think that's having, I don't know, it's just not the right state of mind. I don't know. You guys got to realize not every homeless person is homeless because of their true situation. Some people may have gone through exactly what I've gone through and just not made it on to the other side, you know? So be nice to the homeless people, man. They are truly just trying to figure it out like any other person in this world.
Here in America, you can literally work a full-time job and then some and still be homeless. These jobs, the wages that these jobs offer, don't pay enough to afford rent. You're lucky if you can even afford to rent from somebody anymore. It's like if you want to have a car to drive to and from work, you also got to think about like the gas prices going up. In a lot of areas here in America, gas has reached over $4 a gallon. And then you got to think about like food expenses, you know, toiletry expenses, and then the money to, you know, afford rent. Or say you rent a room from somebody, you know, even that's not really even cheap anymore. But just go get a better job, they say. Budget your money better, they say. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, they say. You cannot work your way out of corporate greed. You can't budget your way out of corporate greed. There's literally individuals out here making the most money that they've ever made in their life, and they're still struggling like hell to make ends meet. And I'm sick and tired of this stigma that people who don't want to participate in capitalism anymore just have a victim mentality, one that's necessarily not true. We're sick and tired of these low wages and the ungodly high cost of living. And honestly, it feels like it's the sanest response to quit participating in something that no longer serves you.
Please watch this. Please watch this. My son and I are officially homeless. We moved in to my partner's studio. It's an artist studio. It's literally a room with a bathroom. Because Milton displaced me, my son's bedroom is sinking into the earth because of how wet the earth has been for, I don't know, 3 freaking hurricanes in the last 3 months. I live in a mobile home, so it's already not exactly the strongest, which I knew when I moved into, but it's what I could afford in this damn economy. We moved in here and we don't have a lot of space. My son has a couch in the hallway for him to sleep. We've like partitioned it off. Casa Ivor saw that. They saw some dishes in the sink and they let my partner know that, hey, don't forget, you can't have guests. So I got notified today that we have to go. We're gonna be living in my car. And I don't have anything left. I own mentally. I'm so gone. I'm so done. I have nothing left in me. Maybe this is the day that the world ends.
I'm 23 and I live in my car. The only reason I live in my car is because I used to live with my parents. I just couldn't afford rent anymore. So I decided to move out. And my idea was, what if I live in the car and save up, because I have a lot of debts. I have a credit card debt, and then I have my taxes. So I gotta pay this shit or I'm gonna go to jail. So I decided to sleep in my car to save up. And I'm also going to college full-time this fall semester, so I gotta save up for that as well. My brother is letting me stay at his place, and I usually sleep in his driveway, and I'm also able to cook there, so I kind of save money. And so I just pack everything the night before, and I just have everything ready when I wake up and I'm ready for the day. I usually side hustle, and I usually make $170 a day when I do Amazon, but lately I'm not getting any orders, so I'm just doing DoorDash. This is me getting gas because, guys, gas is so expensive. Like, I'm dead. Anyways, and I also babysit tonight, so I'll see you guys later. Bye. I'm officially homeless as of next week with my 3 daughters, my 2 dogs, and my 2 cars that I broke down. Yay! Let me explain. One of my cars won't start, and my other car, I got into a car accident over the weekend. I actually wrecked into somebody, and my whole front end's ripped off. Brakes are grinding down the rotors, hanging on for dear life. I have been struggling to find a work for the last 1.5 years. It's why I vanished on TikTok, because I couldn't keep up financially. I just couldn't even afford anything at the point. Like, my world just started crumbling and declining as time went on, and I just keep wasting my time with these companies saying they're hiring, and I put my application in 30,
50 times going for interviews, and they see my hair color and automatically don't want me to work. I was in customer service for 10 years. I know how to talk to people. I know how to de-escalate situations. I don't understand why I keep getting denied customer service positions. I will also lose my assistance with food because I will be homeless, on top of getting a security deposit, which is usually $1,000. And most places are asking last month's rent too, which is probably about $1,300. I have to get both of my dogs registered as emotional support animals so I don't end up losing my dogs that I love to death. I also have to get my cat registered as an emotional support animal because I'm not losing her either. Y'all, please tell me I am not, like, I started going to church and I found God, and like I started being more spiritual. I feel like my life just completely went to crap. Just went completely downhill after I started going to church. And I don't understand if it's because I'm getting closer to God or if like I'm just having shitball luck. Like I'm at a breaking point. Life has humbled me in ways like I've already lost so much in my life. If you know, you know. As embarrassing as this is, I did make a GoFundMe. It's in my link if anybody wants to help. I'm not going to get on here and cry because this is already embarrassing as enough as it is. But it is in my bio if anybody wants to help me. Like even $1 would really be appreciated. I just do not want to lose my kids. If you have a job offer, like anybody wants to give me a job, I just can't work 12s because of my kids. I don't have daycare. I love y'all so much and I miss you guys. I miss making content. As if life couldn't get hard enough as it is, it had to kick me right up my ass. Even if I had to live in a hotel, like, we're gonna get through this. We're strong moms out here. Yeah, we're strong moms. I love you guys.
Spend a few minutes with me while I explain how I became homeless due to eviction fraud, lying landlords, delays in employment, this terrible job market, and how I even got here. So, I would just like to say, I moved to California in October. I had at least $5 grand saved up, and that took care of everything, right? But then, my job was on hold because I couldn't transfer my license. And then I wasn't making money for 2 months. But then I also had a landlord that moved me in and then kicked me out because I wanted to bring my furniture into the apartment. And I mean, that's just like a little bit, but I moved to California because I was held at Pew Pew Point and the state of Colorado was like, hey, you need to relocate. And then I was R-worded by a homeless guy, and then my boyfriend died, and then I had 2 weeks to move. So I was in a decent position considering my time frame, but now I am couch surfing thanks to the kindness of strangers. I can't afford to pay my phone bill, so my phone is off, and every application that you submit for any help is related to a phone number. And I am just literally begging for any help. I have 2 cats. They're babies, and they're very attached to me. You can hear them playing in the background. But genuinely, this has been the hardest experience of my life. I went from having my own 2-bedroom apartment, making good money, happy, and now it feels like there's no end in sight. I have a car in Colorado I can't go get because I can't afford to go get it. It just feels like this. I felt so called here and led to be here, and I was so happy and I was doing good, but then everything hit at once. So I am currently safe thanks to a new friend, because I also don't know anybody here. I don't have any support from my family. A little support, but my family isn't well off. My grandma's in the hospital. Like, everything that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong. I did make a new GoFundMe. If you can help in literally any way, I would be grateful, and I hate asking for help. I really do. And I'm hoping that there's an end in sight soon, but I'm scared that I'm gonna have to rehome my cats and then that I'm gonna be living on the streets. It just really sucks. It really sucks. So I just need some help to get the ball rolling and figure this out. Thanks for sitting and listening if you made it this long. I also, besides the GoFundMe, I am a channeler, and a pretty damn good one, I'd say. So if you guys want readings, I'm happy to work for money. I'm located in the Santa Cruz area. If anyone has, I seriously can't even buy food. Like, it's bad. I'm doing everything I can to get assistance, but without a phone, it makes it difficult, and without transportation, it makes it difficult. So anything I can do, if you want a reading, I will do it as cheap as you want it. Like, I just need some help. But GoFundMe's in the bio, and I love you guys, and just keep me in your thoughts. I feel like I know I can do this, but I just need a little help. Okay, I'll stop crying on the internet now. Thanks for listening.
One paycheck away, the most dangerous place to live in America. Financial experts have a term for it. They call it financial fragility. But that term is too gentle for what it actually means in real life. What it actually means is that a nurse who has worked the same hospital for 6 years cannot absorb a $2,200 car repair without it threatening her housing. What it means is that a warehouse worker who hasn't missed a shift in 2 years has $200 in his savings account because everything else went to rent and groceries and utilities and the minimum payment on the credit card he used last month when groceries got too expensive. What it means is that the margin between housed and unhoused for the majority of working Americans is not a savings account or a financial safety net. It is a single paycheck that cannot be late, cannot be short, and cannot be missed under any circumstances. And when that paycheck does get missed, through layoffs, through illness, through hours being cut, through any of the 1,000 things that can go wrong in a working person's life, the fall is instant. There is no cushion. There is no landing. There is just the ground.
Federal minimum wage, and I cannot afford to live.
I can break it down perfectly for you. So I'm one of the many Americans struggling with homelessness. I live in a vehicle that was made in 1996. I live on the side of the road, and I live in parking lots from time to time. When I can, I stay at campground. But this was obviously not my first choice of living. At the time I became homeless, I was 22. My grandma had just passed away. I had applied to 6 different apartments, and I got denied at every place because I didn't have renter's history or credit yet. Because like I said, at the time I was 22, I never rented before, and I never built credit. So after being denied multiple times, I did have to stay in motels, and my money was going fast on nights at motels. Plus, the motels weren't super clean or safe, and I have 2 cats. Well, I have 3 cats, but at the time when I first became homeless, I did have 2 cats. Now, the answer that you want, I have. You're wondering why they are doing this, and you're wondering why we are not fighting back. Slavery never stopped, it just evolved. The government requires you to be a slave to them in order to rent an apartment. You could have money. You could have, for example, $10,000 cash, but you still will not be able to get a place to live unless you have proof that you have been a slave to the system, pay stubs, bank statements, proof that you work a certain amount of hours. If you are not making money for the government, then they don't want you. They don't want to help you, and they see you as a burden. The system is set up for rich families. If I had a cosigner, I would be able to get a place to live, but I had no family or friends to cosign for me, so I've just been navigating this kind of by myself, and I spent my life savings on this vehicle so that I didn't have to sleep in my car or outside in the park. But the government doesn't believe you guys will fight back, and they're trying to make you so tired that you won't fight back, or you will become so rageful and you won't think straight, so you'll get yourself in legal trouble, and then once you get locked away, you can legally be used as a slave. It says it in our amendments. When you get arrested, you can be used as a slave, like legally. It says it in our amendments in very little font. So at the end of the day, it's all about the elites using the middle class and the poor as their workhorses. I always try to tell people you will never get rich working a 9-to-5 job because the rich never got rich that way. The rich are telling you guys, go work a 9-to-5 job and you will be like us. But they really got their money from generational wealth, slavery, funding wars. The reason inflation happened and you guys need to be making more money for your rent and for your gas is because they're giving money to the wars, because the rich elites of our country make money by funding wars, by trading missiles and trading weapons and stuff. So That's why they need you guys to work extra hard for them right now, because you guys are helping funding the war. Meanwhile, many of you are getting angry, rageful, getting yourself in legal trouble because you're tired, you're exhausted. You're needing to depend more on healthcare because you're sick now and you're getting overworked. No humans should be working this much. Never in history have we before. The funniest thing is, right now, I'm homeless living on the side of the road, but I'm making more money than my grandma was, or my grandparents, my mother, like back in the day. Their rent was like $300. But they're going to tell us that they worked just as hard as us and that we're the bums and we're lazy, because they're not going to own up to the mess that they made. And they don't care anyways, because they're not going to be on Earth for much longer. So we're going to be the ones to deal with it, and then our children. But you guys just have to realize it's about slavery. It's about power and control. It's about feeding the elites, feeding the rich. They don't care what happens to you. They see you as ants. If you pass away, they will replace you with a new employee. They really don't care. You're just money. You make money for them, and they even say money doesn't exist. It's just meant to control you, because they know money doesn't exist. They trade numbers. They do not trade money. Money is paper. It's a made-up thing to control the middle class and the poor so that you guys stay in your lane. So you can keep getting angry like this, but that's not going to do anything. You have to become brave. Stop depending on the government. They control you with fear because they think that you need them. They took away our human instincts, so you don't think you can hunt for food or make your own house, but you think you can make money to pay somebody to do it for you. And that's where they have you, because you don't know how to be self-sustainable anymore, and you need to rely and depend on them. When at the end of the day, we have trees we can go cut down and build our houses. We know how to build a fire. I grew up in a town where hunting is a thing every season. We hunt for deer and turkeys. But they have you fooled thinking that giving away $2,000 every 30 days is winning. When at the end of the day, not paying rent is winning, dude. I don't pay rent. Literally, I've never paid rent in my entire life. I tried, but they didn't want me to because I didn't qualify. So now I've been learning how to live in different ways without the government, and they hate me for that. But in these next couple of years, you're going to see van life, RVs, trailers all over the place, because some people want to be free for the little time that we have on Earth. We don't want to be working our young lives away for corporations that don't care about us. At the end of the day, people need to stop paying rent and fueling the rich and the elites, but that's not going to happen. So, get it how you live it while you're on Earth. Try to enjoy your time while you're here, and just try to wake up to the fact that money and material items really aren't all that.
Oddly enough, I actually feel free with accepting the fact that I've been homeless. I'm about to be homeless. For a few years now, I've been terrified of being homeless. I've been just on the edge every time since like 2021, 2022. And finally, I'm tired of giving my energy to this fear. I'm just accepting my fate, my circumstances. And yeah, I'm tired of trying to keep up. There is no keeping up. And I feel achy, part of me does want to cry, but I've been more anxious about not knowing what's going to happen rather than just accepting what's about to happen. So yeah, I'm not gonna wait for some sweepstakes or miracle or stroke of luck to save me. I'm just going to accept that I'm about to be homeless. And I've been doing some research on it. Obviously, easier said than done, and with no car, tricky. But I think with house sitting gigs that I have, I'll have some periods of time where I'm warm and I get to take a shower. And then also I've been looking at people saying gym memberships. I'm gonna get fit, finally, Not finally, I've been fit before, but, girl was packing on some since that cat died. Since the kitten died, I've been eating all my feelings, and now it's not even about the kitten, it's just about me eating a lot. Hence how we got here. So yeah, it's this weird thing of I feel almost bad even asking for help, because I mean, I know it's not just my irresponsibility. It is just that years of just trying to catch up, working overtime, doing all these things, running, getting burnt out, and then not having enough energy to work anymore. Like, it's a series of choices, circumstances, events that have led to this. So it's not just my fault, which is a lot of people don't understand. And another thing people don't understand is like, oh, like, why can't you just suck it up and go stay with family members? So one family member has offered for me to live with her, my older sister, but I would need to have enough money to move from one state to another state that's in a different time zone. That's a lot. I don't have enough to do that. It would take multiple family members to pitch in and help me to live somewhere. And I did think my dad would help me, but he just forgets to respond to texts and calls sometimes. So yeah. Promises have been made and not been kept. And then he'll tell people, oh, she just doesn't want to be helped. And it's so yeah, there's a mischaracterization of me to many family members of what I'm about or whatever. Black sheep shit. Whatever. I just need to do what I gotta do, which is what I've been doing for a while. But yeah, I need to do another video about what it's like. How do I explain that living with certain people, it drives me insane and I need my sanity to keep going or else I'll stay trapped. And somehow homelessness seems better. And some people will think, oh, you're just being really dramatic. But I don't think you understand what it's like to be ridiculed and mocked on a regular basis for years in your life, throughout your life. And people trying to convince you of realities that have existed, things that didn't happen, saying it did happen, or things that did happen, saying it didn't happen. It is, after a few years, it gets to you. It gets to you. So that certain family members, I can't rock with you. Can't do it. Because you want me to believe in a reality that would lead to my demise. And I'm not done. Not done yet. So yeah, we're about to be homeless.
America's in a really sad state right now, okay? Far too many people are homeless. Gas is sky high. Food prices are skyrocketing with no end in sight. And, shelters are full, all right? So a lot of people literally have nowhere to go. I see folks on the sidewalks, folks still live in their cars, folks don't really have any families to, live off of or ask for help. And things are just getting worse and worse, A lot of these people have jobs, okay? It's not like a lot of folks just not working. Their jobs simply just not paying enough money, And a lot of these job applications are only getting looked at because the AI is not really pushing their applications in. And a lot of these jobs are also ghost jobs. They don't really exist. They're just online, just collecting applications. So this is not good, You should be able to get a job easily and live your life and enjoy your life and pay your bills on time and not have to worry about all this stress of what's going on right now. What's unfortunate, a lot of folks just trying to make ends meet, go day by day. Yes, hopefully things change in the future, but right now the economy is not where it should be, and we're in trouble right now.
Working full-time and still can't qualify. The rental system is designed to exclude here is something that should be front-page news every single day. There are people in America, employed, full-time, consistent income, no criminal record, decent credit, who cannot get approved to rent an apartment. Cannot, because the qualification standards that landlords and property management corporations have built are so extreme that working-class income simply does not clear the bar. The 3 times rent rule alone disqualifies millions of full-time workers from renting in most major American cities. If rent is $800 a month, and in many cities that is considered affordable, you need to prove $5, $400 a month in take-home income to qualify. That is $60, $40, $800 a year after taxes. The median American household income barely touches that before taxes. So the average American worker, the median, the middle, the person this country was supposedly built for, cannot qualify for a median-priced apartment in their own country. And on top of that impossible income bar, there are credit requirements, background checks, rental history requirements, and application fees that have to be paid just to be rejected. The system is not broken. The system is working exactly as the people who designed it intended. It was built to protect landlord profit, not to house human beings.
All right, so I'm here with Nina. Nina, how old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
Yeah.
And are you homeless right now?
Yeah.
How long have you been homeless?
Like maybe 3 years now.
3 years?
Mm-hmm.
So since you were 16?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, it
Are
is.
you born and raised out here in Phoenix?
No, I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And then I came out here when I was 12, 13-ish. And, you know, it's been kind of hard since, but it's not too bad.
And how did you end up homeless?
Honestly, it was by choice. I've always been, like, defiant and, like, rebellious, I guess. And I don't know, I never really chose to listen to anybody but myself, so I don't know.
Did you have
It just seemed
parents
comforting.
when you were growing up or not?
No, I didn't. I didn't really have either one of my parents, really. My mom was always by my side throughout the whole time, but, you know, yeah, she just wasn't there completely.
So you didn't grow up in no foster home or nothing like that? You grew up with your mom?
Mm-hmm.
How was your childhood?
It was hard, like everybody else's, you know. It wasn't very loving or, you know, like, what's the word, I guess. I don't know what the word is. It's just, you know, I just didn't feel very loved and accepted throughout most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like you were being, you needed more attention, you were being neglected or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And plus my dad was abusive, and my brother was too. And yeah, my mom was going through the same shit I was, you know what I mean? Like, so, and then I had my other sister who was abusive as well. It was just a fucked up situation, so.
And where are your folks now, like, and your siblings?
I don't know where my siblings are. My mom is in Glendale, I think, somewhere in Glendale. That's my boyfriend right there. Yeah, she's in Glendale right now. She's on Bethany and something, I don't know. But yeah, she doesn't really want to talk to me very much, and she married this guy.
Yeah.
And he's kind of cool. He comes out and he helps us out with money and stuff sometimes, but yeah, other than that, we don't really have a relationship, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and how is it out here? Is it dangerous out here in the streets or anything like that?
No, yeah, it's dangerous. It's super dangerous. It's like, yeah, it really just depends on you and where you're at, yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
and what activities you get into too?
Yeah, sometimes you could just get into a little petty argument. People get picked off out here really easy, so.
Yeah, people tend to hold grudges out here.
Yeah. And what's your boyfriend's name?
Trey.
Trey?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I just go around and do interviews with the homeless pretty much. And just to see pretty much what's going on out here, man.
Yeah, it's crazy in Arizona. It's not like this anywhere else. I don't feel like it's so many homeless people.
To me, Arizona's like its own little country.
Yeah, it really
Shit
is.
that goes on in Arizona, this shit doesn't happen nowhere else, bro.
Mhm.
Like, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Virginia, dog.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. The type of shit that happened here, it don't happen on that side of the world, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you end up all the way over here, Trey?
After I graduated, I moved out here because I was on probation, and I don't know. I was just tired of that. I don't know.
That lifestyle, I guess. I did the same thing when I left Chicago.
Plus, my mom's side of the family was out here in Arizona, so I don't know. I just moved out here with them and shit. So.
Yeah.
Started off good, didn't end good.
Are you homeless as well too, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where's your folks at right now? Are they out here in AZ or they're back east?
Well, no, my mom is in Texas, and I have my grandparents and my uncle that stay out here in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
Yeah.
And what about like drug use? Is there any drug use?
Hmm. Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere, even when you
Everywhere.
don't think it, even when you trust me, bro. People out here are bold as fuck, bro.
Yeah, they're real manipulative.
Fucking right out on the open. Nobody
Mhm.
gives a fuck. People are manipulative as hell, bro. They'll
Yeah.
Be your friend 1 second, backstab you next second. Like,
And I mean like backstab, like.
do you dirty.
And that's what I asked the last couple that I interviewed. I asked them if there's any loyalty out here in the streets. What would you guys say?
That's
it depends, but
That's a hard question.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It depends. I have people that are loyal to me, but even then, I feel like loyalty at some point, loyalty is tested.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, no, there's been people that have, rode for us for like months or years, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they just switch up. We got a car. I didn't ever think I was gonna be able to get a car. I didn't think we were ever gonna get a car. We had a car, and we had it for like a week and a half maybe. We went back to Buckeye City because that's where we moved to after we were living in South Phoenix, and I got out of jail and I got pregnant and stuff, and we went out there. And so we went back out when we got our car and stuff after being out here for a week. And after like an hour, we left the car and we went to our friend's house just to, talk to them or whatever, tell them we were back in town. We came back and all of our tires were slashed. And then we went back to the car and whatever, and everybody out there likes us. So it didn't really make any sense, but it's just, that's just like the main point of like, doesn't matter how much.
But imagine you go in the store, you come out the store, and all 4 of your tires are slashed, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next morning, fucking the police had our hood open, our doors open, our trunk open. They watch us out there.
I had to wait till the next morning. I had to order new tires and everything from Walmart. I had to wait till the next morning to get them though. And we made a deal with the store where it's parked at. They said I had to have the car moved by 7 in the morning. So 7 in the morning came, I moved the car into this alley by this old lady's house. She told me I could park there. And I went to this old man I know his house because he has tools and stuff. I went to his house, he had some tools, so I took the tires off the car, came back, and the police are at our car.
Yeah, and for some reason they watch us out there, so they were like, they tore our car apart. It was bad. They impounded it.
So they impounded it. And
Like, bro,
you guys never got the car back out?
No, we weren't on the registration or anything.
We can't get the car
for that
out.
matter. So
The person that we bought it from, they weren't even on the registration.
yeah, after telling us that they were, and it was just a bunch of bullshit.
So in order for us to get the car back, we would have to contact the person that is actually on the registration, in which they haven't owned that car. They haven't owned that car in like 3-4 years now,
Yeah, it's messed up.
So we can't get the car back.
Were you guys sleeping in that car before it got towed? Yeah.
Yeah, it was so helpful.
I literally woke up that morning, bro.
Yeah.
Went to this old man's house to borrow some tools. 15 minutes later, came back and the police are there.
Yeah. And then, the police out there are so messed up, too. They were, like, discouraging us, like, from getting it back. They were like, no, you guys can't. I don't think you guys are going to be able to get it back. Doesn't matter if they have the bill of sale or the title or anything. You guys probably can't get it. You know what I mean? It was just messed up, so I don't know.
Turns out they were right. We can't get it. Sad.
Yeah, it's just stuff like that just, we get further ahead and then we just get knocked back down. You know what I mean? But
And then so now I got the people that we were buying it from because I was doing payments on it. Now they're looking at me crazy because I stopped doing the payments and stuff. And it's like, I don't
yeah,
know,
because we couldn't even drive down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a bunch of bullshit, bro.
Hey, are you guys right now? Are you guys clean or are you guys messing with the blues or?
No, yeah, we
mess with the blues, but we go to methadone too,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to methadone in Buckeye. So that's another thing that kind of messed it up for us too, because,
we were like a lot of people out here are not like, honestly, bro, there's a lot of people out here that are not trying to fix their lives or satisfied with their situation, bro. But honestly, I do not want to be doing this forever, bro. I cannot be out here forever, bro.
That's good, man.
Yeah, no, we're too young for this shit.
Like, deadass, I'm too young for this shit, bro. I'm only 21, bro. Deadass, bro. I just turned 21 a few months ago, and my lady's only 19, so it's like, Like, I'm not trying to be out here, bro.
Yeah, I noticed that there's a lot of people out here that are on the blues, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, blues got people
sucks,
bad.
man.
They
Yeah,
had
it
shit-
does.
They had us bad. At one
How did you guys get introduced to that though?
I was doing them before I met him. He was doing them before he met me. I've been using drugs on and off since I was 11, and fucking, I went to this thing called IOP after I got out of jail, or out of juvie or whatever, and fucking, which is an intensive outpatient program.
Yeah.
It's very like therapy, but in a big ass group of people who do drugs, but everybody just does weed, you know what I mean? Except for me, and fucking there was another girl that did actual drugs too, you know what I mean? And me and her just ended up becoming friends, and then she introduced me to him, and we went, and I was like 16, 17 years old, and she took me to a sugar daddy's house, and that was one of my first times ever doing that.
Let's be completely honest about what homelessness in America actually looks like in 2025. Because when most people picture homelessness, they picture a person on a street corner, a person under a bridge, someone visibly, undeniably without shelter. And that is real. And that number is growing at a rate that should alarm every single person in this country. But that is only part of the picture. Homelessness in America right now also looks like a 34-year-old teacher sleeping in her car in the school parking lot because her rent got raised $700 and she couldn't find anything else she could afford in time. It looks like a construction worker bouncing between friends' couches because his name is on a wait list for subsidized housing that is 4 years long. It looks like a family of 5 crammed into a 1-bedroom motel room paid for week to week because no landlord would approve them after one eviction that happened 3 years ago during the pandemic. It looks like a retired veteran living in a storage unit. It looks like a couple both working full-time eating fast food every meal because they put every dollar they have into keeping the apartment they can barely afford, and there is nothing left for anything else. This is the face of homelessness and housing insecurity in modern America. It is not just the person you can see struggling on the street. It is the person next to you at work who you would never guess is one bad week away from having nowhere to go. And the cruelest irony of all of this, the most gut-wrenching part of this entire crisis, is that the solution is not complicated. Housing exists. There are vacant properties all across America. There are empty apartments sitting in buildings owned by private equity firms who would rather keep them vacant and write off the loss than lower the rent and reduce their profit margins. There are entire neighborhoods of homes bought up by corporate investors sitting empty or used as short-term rentals while working families cannot find a single affordable place to rent in the same zip code. The housing exists. The problem is who owns it and what they have decided it is worth more to do with it than house human beings. And the government, federal, state, and local, has had decades to address this and has consistently, repeatedly, almost impressively chosen not to. Not meaningfully, not at the scale the crisis demands. There are press conferences and task forces and committees and studies and pilot programs, and the homelessness rate keeps climbing. The rent keeps rising. The wait lists keep getting longer. And the campaign donation checks from real estate lobbyists and property management associations keep clearing in politicians' accounts without a single news cycle about it. Let's talk about what it actually costs a person to become homeless in America. Not financially, emotionally, psychologically. Because losing your housing is not just losing a place to sleep. It is losing your address, which means losing your ability to apply for jobs, open a bank account, receive mail, register your kids for school, access benefits. It is losing your storage space for your belongings, which means losing the physical evidence of your life before everything fell apart. It is losing your privacy, your safety, your routine, your sense of self. Homelessness does not just take your house. It systematically dismantles every structure in a person's life that makes recovery possible. And then the same system that dismantled it looks at the person standing in the rubble and asks why they can't just get it together. And working people, the ones hanging on by a thread, the ones one paycheck away, they watch this happen to people around them, and they feel it. They feel the proximity of it. They know how close the edge is because they can see it from where they're standing. And that terror, That constant low-level financial dread of knowing how little it would take for everything to collapse, that is its own kind of damage. It is impossible to thrive, impossible to plan, impossible to invest in yourself or your future or your relationships when every single day is spent managing the anxiety of barely holding on. This is what the American economy has done to its own people. Not foreign enemies, not natural disasters. The deliberate policy decisions of elected officials and the unchecked greed of corporations have created a country where working people live in fear of losing the most basic thing a human being needs to survive. So what has to change? Everything. The 3 times rent income requirement needs to be regulated. Application fees need to be capped or eliminated. Eviction records need expiration dates that don't follow people forever. Corporate ownership of single-family homes needs to be restricted. Short-term rental platforms need to be regulated in housing-scarce markets. Affordable housing construction needs to be funded at a scale that actually matches the crisis. And tenant protections need to exist in every state in this country, not just the ones where enough people got loud enough for long enough to force a change. None of that is radical. All of it exists in various forms in other countries that have decided housing their people is more important than protecting the profit margins of real estate investors. America has simply decided differently so far, but here's what I know about people pushed to their limit. They eventually push back. And the conversations happening right now, in comment sections in TikTok videos, in town halls and community meetings and kitchen tables across this country, those conversations are the beginning of something. People are naming what is happening to them. They are refusing to be ashamed of it. They are pointing at the system and saying clearly and loudly, "This is not our failure. This is yours." Keep pointing, keep talking, keep refusing to normalize any of this, because a country that cannot house the people who build it, serve it, teach its children, and keep its hospitals running is a country that has lost the right to call itself great. Thanks for watching.